Hello, and thank you for watching. My name is Blakely Barty. I'm a reporter for the Aiken Standard. This video is one part of the Aiken Standard's Candidates Forum, a series meant to help you get to know the candidates running for office in November. We sat down with Patricia Hanks and Keith Leiner, the two candidates running for District 4 in the Aiken County Board of Education. Our moderator, reporter Colin Demarest, asked each candidate 5 questions and allowed them to make opening and closing statements. The candidates had 2 minutes to answer each question. We are presenting their answers in full, with no cuts or editing, so without further ado, please enjoy the video.
Hello, and thanks for joining us. This is one part of the Aiken Standard's larger Candidates Forum, a series meant to get voters familiar with those running for office in November. I'm Colin Demarest, a reporter with the Aiken Standard, and I'll be your moderator. I'm joined today by Patricia Hanks and Keith Leiner, candidates for Aiken County School Board District 4. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Let me explain how this will work. Each candidate will have 1 minute to make an opening statement. After that, a few questions will be posed to each of you. Candidates will alternate answering first. You each have 2 minutes per question. When we're finished with the questions, each candidate will have 1 minute for closing remarks. Are we ready to begin?
Yes.
Awesome. Patricia, your opening statement, please.
Hi, I am Dr. Patricia Hanks, and I am excited to be on the ballot for District 4 School Board seat here in Aiken County. I've been a resident of North Augusta for 25 years, and my husband and I raised 3 children in the area, all of whom attended North Augusta schools. I am a U.S. Navy veteran, and I am an optometrist by profession, recently retired. As a small business owner during my career, I gained strong leadership, management, budgeting, and multicultural people skills, all of which I feel are important for the makeup of a successful board member. I am willing to work hard for the benefit of our district, and I strongly believe that bringing a new voice and fresh ideas to the board will enhance the efforts of making our schools the best that they can be.
Thank you. Keith, your opening statement.
My wife Chris and I have lived in Aiken County for over 30 years. Our 2 sons attended and graduated from North Augusta schools. I have volunteered in our schools for over 22 years. As your District 4 representative for the past 12 years, our district has accomplished a great deal. Student achievement. Since 2008, there's been a steady increase in our ratings on the school report cards. In 2019, our school report card had the highest percentage of schools in the state with ratings of excellent, good, and average. Retention and recruitment. As chair of the salary committee, we revised the pay scales for all employees and added a step for teachers. The item that I'm most proud of is the 1% sales tax legislation. As lead, I helped draft legislation to allow the tax. The legislation was approved in the last hour of the last day of the 2014 session. Our county voted for the tax in 2014. It was the first capital improvement referendum to pass in our county in over 30 years. We are currently completing building projects like the new North Augusta High School with this money.
Thank you, Keith. On to the questions. Keith, you will answer the first one first. What are the biggest needs of the Aiken County Public School District as a whole, and how will you address them?
I think as the whole, we still have some facility needs in the district. We have continuous improvement in student achievement and discipline. We can always improve in those areas, but I would say we still have some capacity needs. Specifically in Area 2, I'll go through some of the Area 2 schools. Mossy Creek is pretty much at capacity, and it's a new school and doesn't need any work. Belvedere Elementary School is lower than capacity, but we are doing some work there to add capacity to that school because we expect growth in that area of the county. Hammond Hill School is much greater than capacity, so we really need to do something there, and we're undergoing a building project now to add classrooms. North Augusta L is lower than capacity, and it's a newer school, so I wouldn't think we need any capacity there. North Augusta Middle School is lower than capacity, so they're good there. Our biggest need in Area 2 is Paul Knox Middle School. We're really above capacity there, and we need some seats for our middle schools. And we're supposed to meet some of that need with the Highland Springs Middle School that'll be built as part of the $90 million bond referendum. And North Augusta High School, we're adding classrooms to that school, then building it larger than the capacity that's needed right now, so we should have some room for growth there. So in Area 2 specifically, capacity would be our biggest need. And I think that's true in some of the other areas of the district also. For instance, Wagner Sally, we have some old buildings there. It's over the Wagner Sally High School is our oldest building in the district now. And we still have great facility needs, even though we did get the 1% sales tax passed back in 2014.
Thank you. Patricia, same question to you.
I would say a few of the priorities I think are technology planning and execution. In offering the options to the students, we had 7,000 students approximately that chose the virtual learning at home option. And of those 7,000, 2,000 ended up saying we don't have devices. So acknowledging the need for technology is definitely something that needs to be a priority. We're addressing the issue, which I'm happy to see, by providing tablets to all students from grades 3rd through 12. But with that said, having the device is not the end-all be-all. We actually also need to partner and really work on innovative ways to decrease the digital divide and help in access, which internet connectivity is a big issue for a lot of students. Another issue that I see as a priority is our COVID response plan. COVID is a biggie for all of us. When and how we're going to reopen and return our school students to full-time is going to require, as it already is, complicated logistical, educational, and public health plans. I know that we have to consider, or I feel, what's the best science? What is science saying is the safest way for us to return and control the spread of the virus? Our number one goal has to be keeping students, families, and the faculty and staff at the school safe. Lastly, I'd like to say, in the district as a whole, improving student learning and reducing the achievement gap is a major thing as well. We need to be diligent about evaluating the curriculum and looking at students on the individual need to see what's needed, and when we see that there's an issue, hit it hard with intervention, especially tutoring.
Thank you. Patricia, you'll answer this question first. In your opinion, has the school district kept students safe during the COVID-19 pandemic? What would you like to see done differently, and why?
Yes, I actually think that the district did the best that they could do in keeping students safe. These are unprecedented times for all of us. So the return to school and the options that students were given versus, the virtual model to stay at home for parents who were not comfortable sending their students back in versus the virtual or hybrid model were good choices. There was no win-win or no perfect answer. Some parents wanted full-time return immediately, and others wanted nothing to do with that. So the safeguards that were mandated as far as a few days a week, hand washing, all of the things that have been recommended by the CDC, I think we followed those pretty well. There's nothing I can recommend that I would want to see done differently. I think both options were good options, and I think they both worked well.
Thank you. Keith.
Good question. And I think we had a pretty solid plan going into the response to the COVID. And I'm glad that we had the ability to offer a full virtual option to our students. Patricia said we had about 7,000 students sign up for that option, and that's good. I'm glad that they had the ability to do that, because the main thing is our number one priority was to keep our students and our staff safe and to help minimize the spread of the virus. Now, I think the key now is getting back into full-time instruction and how we balance that. And it's a hard choice because this is something that we haven't done before, no one's ever done before, and you have to make sure that you're protecting the health and safety of the students and staff, and also meeting the needs of the community, the workers in the community that need to have their kids back into school 5 days a week. So we do have our advisory committee, which is made up of parents, a couple physicians, and some school officials, and we're relying on them to look at the data and bring us the data in a form that we can make a good decision on. Just recently, they recommended that we start or put off the delay of schools. You know, our original plan was to start schools back on the 21st of September, and we realized, I think, that we wouldn't have enough data at that time, so they recommended that we put off the start until November. I personally thought that was a little bit too long to wait, so we made a motion last Friday night to kind of meet in the halfway between the road there and evaluate at the beginning of October, with hopefully a return to 5 days a week back in like October 12th or October 19th. But the main thing is we want to make sure that the numbers support going back to school 5 days a week, and also look at our surrounding areas that are in school now and see if we can learn from them.
Thank you. Keith, you'll answer this question first. What issues do you hope to address that affect District 4 and the North Augusta area specifically, and why?
Well, I think I probably should have answered the first question. Is more I concentrated more on Area 2 on the first question, but that's fine. Specifically for Area 2, I'll go back to the capacity there, and I think that's the main thing that faces Area 2. And like I said before, the Paul Knox Middle School needs, the middle school seat capacity is the biggest thing that is kind of the issue in District 4 or Area 2 right now. Just to talk a little bit about student achievement in that area and with respect to that, Mossy Creek is average the last school report card, so they're doing good. And all in Area 2 we have good teachers and staff. And we can always improve in discipline and in student achievement, but we're doing really good things. So Mossy Creek had a school report card of average, Belvedere had a school report card of good, Hammond Hill was good, North Augusta Elementary was excellent, North Augusta Middle was average, and Paul Knox was good, and North Augusta High School was excellent. So, we're doing good things with respect to student achievement and discipline. We can always improve, but going back to what I said before, just adding room for seats in the classroom is important. Also, if one of the things I'm going to talk about later in the closing is trying to reduce class size, and to do that, we're going to have to add some capacity for that too. So that would be the biggest issue I see in District 4 or Area 2.
Thank you. Patricia.
The few issues that I see in District 4, I call my 3 T's: teachers, tutoring, and technology. Teachers are important because they're the backbone of the system, and without them, everything crumbles. So feedback that I've been given is saying that they are a little bit stressed, a little bit frustrated, just a lot on their plate at this time. Anything that we can do to ensure that our teachers are supported and keep the lines of communication open needs to be at the top of the list. The second thing is tutoring. With tutoring, for me, goes hand in hand with the achievement gap that exists not only in our district, but in the state and in the nation. That gap can only be reduced by aggressive intervention, and that intervention has to start at the elementary grade level. Studies say that students who don't read by grade level by 3rd grade are 4 times more likely to drop out of school. Just a quick few stats. Our 2019 South Carolina NEP report card shows 39% of South Carolina students ranked below basic for reading in grade 4, and 31% were below basic in grade 8. Our district, South Carolina Ready numbers, we fare better, but still shows about 17 to 20% of our third grade students do not meet expectations in reading. I share those stats simply to show a trend. If we don't catch struggling students early and with individual help and aggressive tutoring, their troubles follow them. That third grader who's struggling, he's going to struggle in fifth grade. They go from fifth grade to middle school through high school. Early intervention matters, and it matters greatly.
Thank you. Patricia, you'll answer this question first. How could inclusion and diversity be improved in the Aiken County School District?
Inclusion and diversity are important, not just in the school district, but in our world in general. We are, I think, in a good place as a diverse school system to have the conversations that need to be had and to show students that getting to know someone on a personal level or hearing their story can change your perspective on how you not only see that person, but you see the world. So teaching our children from an academic standpoint is important, but I also think that talking about being inclusive, having compassion, being empathetic, learning tolerance, and just being a good person all matter. Inclusivity comes in working together, talking together, agree to disagree, but also in conversating you realize you may learn something. Hearing another perspective, listening with an open ear and an open heart allows you to learn, and we're in a great place to do that.
Thank you. Keith?
Yeah, I think the main thing with diversity is the golden rule, do unto others as you'd like them to do unto you. And really, everyone is deserved to be treated with dignity and respect. And we just have to open everyone's eyes to that through our programs in our schools. We have 23,000 students in Aiken County, about 48% white, 34% African American, and 12% Hispanic. We do have programs to alert the students of a diversity and try to make that a part of their thought process with Black History Month, the Black History Essays, and specific schools have programs about diversity. Paul Knox uses a program that is based on the lessons learned from Columbine. Hammond Hill uses a program, Leader in Me. So we're trying to make the students aware that, hey, people may look different, they may act a little bit different, but they still need to be treated with dignity and respect. For the Hispanic students, we have about 2,000 ESOL students. The board over the last few years has made a real commitment to add ESOL teachers to reduce that pupil-teacher ratio to make sure that those children are learning the English language and can learn effectively in our classrooms. With our workforce, I think the Aiken County workforce is consistent with the Aiken County demographics. Aiken County School District workforce is consistent with the Aiken County demographics. And our workforce also receives diversity training.
Thank you. Keith, you'll answer this question first. With the Western population migration in Aiken County, what should the school district's priorities be with attendance zones, future school renovations, and upgrades?
Yeah, this came up, I think, in 2018 when we passed the $90 million bond referendum. And we did see a shift in the population to the western part of the county, which is North Augusta, Midland Valley, the Exit 5 area, and things like that. So we tried to address some of those issues with adding capacity at Belvedere Elementary School with that referendum, and then also the Highland Springs Elementary and Middle School that's going to be built there off of Belvedere Clearwater Road. You know, that at some point in time, once that school comes online, we're going to have to address rezoning and things like that. And that's not a subject that is taken lightly. We learned that when we rezoned some of Aiken to convert Kennedy Middle School and Aiken Middle School and Schofield into a 6 and then 7-8 type of platform. So those are conversations that this board is going to have to take on once that school is built, probably in the next 2 years or so. And the way I see it is probably that whole Midland Valley, North Augusta area will have to be looked at, and some hard decisions will have to be made on who's going to attend the Highland Springs School and the additions at Belvedere. But the good news is, with the $90 million bond referendum, we've added that capacity for that western shift. So we should be set from a facility needs once the schools are done. Then it's just the hard decisions on who fills the seats in those schools.
Thank you. Patricia, same question to you.
Yes, so the migration is something that we can't control, but I feel that all of the renovations and the new construction that's going on in the area are going to address the issue. Like Mr. Liner said, deciding who will be where when it gets to that need is something that the board will have to sit down and really look at the numbers. But the facilities that are provided now and that are being added to the district, at this point is really all we can do. So managing the influx will become a paper pencil exercise, but using the facilities that we have to do the best that we can do is all we can ask for.
Thank you, guys. That's all for the questions. Keith, your closing remarks, please.
I am pleased with our past efforts, but believe we still have much to do. Why vote for me? Students have to remain our #1 focus, so we need to strive for continuous improvement in student achievement. One way to do that is to reduce class size. One comment from our teachers during the current COVID situation is that with smaller class sizes, the face-to-face instruction is extraordinary. We have a challenge with retention and recruitment. We need to provide a safe and enjoyable work environment for our teachers and staff by consistent implementation of the district discipline policy. We need to continue to look at employee compensation and would like to see a plan to add additional steps to the teacher pay scale. We need to show the community that we are good stewards of our taxpayers' dollar by continuing progress on our building projects. We still have many facility needs in the district, so it is essential that we get the 1% sales tax reapproved in 2024. I appreciate your support in the past and am asking for your support on November 3rd. Thanks. Please stay safe. Godspeed.
Thank you. Patricia, your closing remarks, please.
Sure. I am proud of the strengths and achievements gained in Aiken County Public Schools. I want to see continued growth and further successes that reach all of our students. Establishing strong building blocks early in the learning process are critical to the success of the students and the community. There's a wealth of community partners that are available, willing, and able to help on a volunteer basis in the classrooms for whatever is needed. Teachers work hard. They can't do everything. Let's give them the support that they need and work to establish methods that allow their voices to be heard and support where needed. I will always encourage collaboration between fellow board members, always work hard to promote any new initiatives that propel our district as well as the entire county to the top levels of achievement. It would be an honor to serve on the Board of Education. I ask for your vote on November 3rd.
Thank you.